Hello and welcome to Drpeel Music Talk Series. This is a new format that I'm trying out, and it's more like a podcast version, and where I talk about music and guitar related stuff and things that interest me, and hopefully it will interest you as well. I had some talk series before where I had some episodes where I talked about different things and so on. And now I will try to do this in a more constructive format, and I also trying to have different sections in my Drpeel Music channel, where I have the gear review section, and I have the talk series, and I also will have a gear review revisited series. And I will start talking about that. For instance, I had this channel for a couple of years now, and my update frequency is not good. I think I can improve there. So therefore I have done a more scheduled plan and release for my different videos. So I will try to publish them on the same day every week, and I also decided to make this a gear review section where I test out gear. It doesn't need to be new gear and gear that are in the hype right now. It's just gear that I use and I have and I try out. I don't have big sponsors, so I really try to do this in a moderate format. So beside the gear review, I also thought that I have developed as a guitar player and a musician, and as a person I have more knowledge about a lot of stuff now, compared to what I had a couple of years ago. So some of the gear I have and still have in my possession, I will do a revisited gear review recording. And because some guitars and some most often pedals and so on, I have learned to use them in a better way, and I get the more out of the pedals and so on, and the combination of the pedals and the amp and the guitars and how I play and my technique as a guitar player has developed. So I want to give the review a new perspective from my side. So therefore I will do a revisited gear review section as well. And also this talk series is a new concept for me to talk about guitar and music related stuff, and this is the first episode in that format. So the plan is to publish a video every week, and my plan is to do it on Thursdays, and 1 week it will be the gear review, 1 week it will be the talk series, and 1 week it will be the revisited gear review video. So that is my plan, and also then on a regular basis record and publish a new video every Thursday. And I hope that will be both good for me and for my viewers. So this is and all these recordings will be kind of up to date. I will not pre-record stuff and then send it, so I will try to record it and then publish it within a few days. So that is my goal and my plan. So and also my intention is not to have podcasts for 30, 50, 60 minutes. I think my talk series will be 10 to 20 minutes approximately. And if it turns out well, maybe I will extend it or even shorten it down if that's necessary. This is a test from my side, so I will try what works best, and if it becomes, if you demand more, I will record more. Yes, and this first episode of the talk series, my plan was to talk about my musical influences and what have built up my library of music knowledge and sounds and all kinds of music that is layered in my mind throughout the beginning. So I will start there and see what this will take me. So obviously I was raised up in the early 70s, listened to Sweet and then the glam rock style of rock music. And then by 7-8 years I was knocked out by Kiss and the hard rock music. And I was totally sold on Kiss, both the visual appearance of them, Gene Simmons with his tongue and the blood and their makeup, and Ace Frehley with his space makeup and so on. Peter Criss was my huge idol at that time, and I was more into drums than guitar at that point in my life. So it was Kiss for 100% for a couple of years, but then it took a real turn to be more punk oriented, and I fell for Ramones and The Clash. That was my main groups that I listened to. I didn't have a broad palette of music. I just saw Ramones, and then I listened to Ramones, and I listened to The Clash, and it was The Clash. And at that time I got a vinyl album for Christmas present or a birthday present, and you could also get a cassette and so on. And the way you got to listen to music at that time, it was from the radio, and also from my older sister who played music, and whatever she played was also the music that I heard. So she influenced me a lot of times with different. I think the punk music with Ramones was from her and so on. So that was really interesting. But then growing up in the older teenage, it became more a blend of what was popular music of the 80s. And also with the synth pop and everything that was popular in the lists in the 80s, and also a blend of that and Motorhead, Saxon, Accept, and Rainbow, and that kind of music. So and after that it developed to more post-punk area with The Cure and Bauhaus and so. But then in my 18, 19, 20 years, I started to like the Jesus and Mary Chain. They really knocked me over with their overwhelming, distorted, massive sound, with with all that noise, to even have those cute little melodies in that mix. I really enjoyed that. I didn't really fall for the way that the punk music was turning. It was just turning to be aggressive and fast, and the more you scream and the more you put out, the better. But I didn't like that. So I liked the Jesus Mary Chain, and that also opened up my eyes for Velvet Underground, which was a great experience. I couldn't imagine how people who could have ignored the Velvet Underground during the 60s, because that was fantastic music. So Velvet Underground was a big opener for me on how music could be, and I also saw the connection to Jesus, Mary Chain, and so on. During this period, I also like the Pogues, the Men That Couldn't Hang, more of the folk punk scene that were really big in Europe at that time. But also in this area of my life, in this time period of my life, I also got into, and in this period of time I also got into Sonic Youth, Dinosaur Jr., Butthole Surfers, the Pixies, and that, what do you call it, alternative rock music, and REM and so on. And that was all that happens before Nirvana and the big grunge revolution. And I actually liked Nirvana and that grunge when it exploded in the early 90s, and but the aftermath and the following band, I didn't really was that keen on the grunge scene that developed after Nirvana. So I started more to get back to what do you call it, in a time there in the middle of the 90s, there was a lot of groups, Oasis and Blur and everything, that that was not my cup of tea either. So I was a little bit confused in my music taste orientation at that time. And I was getting more into the big beat and the break beat and the Fatboy Slim, Chemical Brothers, Prodigy, and that more dance, techno oriented music. So that was a huge change in my way of listening to music, and I started to really like that kind of music, and that also started my ambition to try to make music. But and I have always during my life, when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, drums were, I was so amazed by drumming and drummers, so I dreamt about being a drummer, but then later in the teenage and early 20s and so on, I always had wanted to play guitar, but for some reason I have always thought that learning to play an instrument has been too difficult to me. I never tried it really. We had a piano back home. I had an acoustic guitar, but the piano was not in tune, and the guitar was almost pretty broken. So it was no fun to even try to play at them, and they because they were out of tune and I didn't know how to tune them. My interest died actually. But in the end of 90s and the beginning of the 20 in the 2000, I started to try to make music with the software program with a Reason's propeller head's Reason software that emulates the TB303 bass synth and the 909 or 8, I think it was drum machine, and an 808 drum machine, maybe, I don't remember. But trying to do music in a software context with no knowledge whatsoever in how music is made and so on, it didn't go very well. So that didn't make me a musician. And at this point I also was exploring more of the and that was to blame on the Chemical Brothers and the music they sampled and so on. I was getting into more of the 60s and 70s disco and funk and even jazz music at that time. So I was exploring that kind of history in music for a long time, and then I also got more into a soft house type of jazz music and French electro and on and on. But it was then in the 2020 I actually thought that maybe I should give the guitar a try to try to learn me. It was in the pandemic, so working from home and so on, I thought that I could have a guitar in my home office, and every break I can sit and try to learn to play the guitar. And so I did, and from that moment now I've been playing for 5 years, and my interest for guitars is very huge. And now I can't have one day without playing on a guitar in some way, silently on a electric guitar, or plugged in an amp and in my own studio, or just sitting with an acoustic guitar and so on. But I need to play something every day, and I've done that for a long time now, and I'm realizing that I'm a slow learner in a way, and maybe I can learn more, try to rehearsal more and so on. But I play both for therapy reasons, I play for fun, I play for it's really fun to explore things and so on. And the more I learn, the more I realize that I don't know. So the possibilities to dig in deeper and so on, just in learning how to play guitar and what to play on guitar, is getting very big. And then it comes to different types of guitars and amps and pedals and stuff around the strings, the plectrum, the pickups, the straps and tuners and colors, and should you have a cheap guitar, what can you do with the cheap guitar, do I need a expensive guitar? It's just never ends. You can dwell into this subject forever, and it is really fun, I think, to develop and try to learn things every day and try to get better. And sometimes you end up on a level where you think you stand still and you can't come any further, and then you actually, after a few weeks, couple of days, you get by that obstacle and excel in your knowledge. So that is really fun. Never give up. Just try to endure the practice and so on. And during this 5 years now, I've been more and more into different kind of guitar music, listening to everything from old hard rock to rock, experimental rock and new rock and so on, and even jazz with guitars and blues and so on. I broadened and explored a lot of more musical influences, all from heavy rock and to light rock and jazz and blues and soul and everything. So I think guitars are a wonderful instrument, and it's so fun to play and just develop yourself, and it's a great therapy to engage your fingers and hands and really try to do things. And it also keeps your mind busy with different subjects, from how should I play that, could I play this, and how do I get this sound, and how if I learn this, can I do that, and so on. So it's really fun. So right now I try to play a lot of guitar in my home studio. I don't have a band. I don't have any gig options at the moment. So I sometimes I play for my family and so on. But I think this is what I wanted to talk about in this first episode of my talk series, and I hope you liked it, and I will continue to do this talk series further on. So it will be, as I said in the beginning, standard gear review video, then a talk series video, and then a gear review revisited series, and then all again a talk series. So please leave comments and so on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel, and hit like if you like the content and so on. And yeah, that was pretty much what I had for this time, and I hope I see and hear from you more. Thank you very much. Bye.